Welcome to the September 8th meeting of the North Jersey Transportation Planning Authority. I am very happy to welcome everyone who is coming. Thank you for joining us this week. Before we start, I want to remind everyone that Mike announced for today very sensitive. This meeting is now to get started.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? This is to advise that in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, PL 1975, adequate notice of this meeting has been forwarded to the Newark Star Ledger, the Asbury Park Press, the Courier News, the Daily Record, the Home News Tribune, the New Jersey Herald, and posted in the Essex County Hall of Records in Newark.
Thank you. Now, would everyone, let me read the flag. The United States. Now, please.
Bergen County,
Present.
Essex County, Hudson County,
Present.
Hunterdon County,
Present.
Middlesex County,
Present.
Monmouth County, Morris County,
Here.
City of Newark,
Present.
Ocean County,
Here.
Passaic County.
Here.
Somerset County, Sussex County, Union County, Warren County, Governor's Authorities Unit,
Here.
Department of Transportation, New Jersey Transit,
Here.
Port Authority, Citizens Representative, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Next, agenda is approval of minutes. Are there any? Next, approval of minutes. Are there any corrections, additions, deletions to the minutes of the July 4th board meeting? Seeing none, have a motion. to adjourn.
Morris County will move the minutes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Now I'd like to take this opportunity to share. Again, I want to thank everyone for joining us here all the time, as well as those of you participating in both worldwide. I'm honored to be hosting you in Ocean County today. For those of you who aren't aware, the NJTPA board holds one off-site meeting every other year in the home sub-region of the outgoing chair. While we don't do this often, these meetings are a great way to showcase our region's diversity. From secure communities like this one to suburban, urban, and rural area across our 13 counties, NJTPA region is truly like no other. I mention this not only because we are on the road today, but also because the actions before the board today include approval of our updated long-range transportation plan. The plan is called Connecting Communities to reflect the role transportation plays in connecting us with the places we need to go and the people in our lives. It presents a vision for the future of transportation in our region over the next 25 years. It's a vision I'm proud to have helped shape in my role on this board, because what we want is a transportation system that meets the needs of our residents. One that not only gets people in their destination safely, easily, and reliably, but also helps move goods, a cornerstone of our economy. You'll hear more from Dave about connecting communities during our featured presentation shortly. But I want to add that it will take all of us working together collaboratively across all levels of government to help implement these plans, recommendations, and get us closer to what we envision. In addition to voting on the long-range plan, which we only do once every 4 years, the board will also consider adopting the fiscal year 2026 to 2029 Transportation Improvement Program known as TIP. The TIP is the short-term implementation of connecting communities. And this one sets a record, providing $16.3 billion over 4 years to fund 323 projects and programs. The TIP funds major regional infrastructure improvements, like the Gateway Development Commission's Hudson Tunnel project to the north, but it also projects that reflect local priorities here in Ocean County and around the entire region. For example, the new TIP provides funding for right-of-way acquisitions and construction of improvements to the Garden State Parkway Interchange 83. That would be in Tom's River. This nearly $20 million project, led by Ocean County, will address the missing interchange movement from the Garden State Parkway southbound at Interchange 83 in Tom's River. We are constructing a new exit ramp south of the toll plaza that will terminate at a T intersection with County Route 571. This project will also improve the flow of vehicles and operations at the intersection of Route 9 and Route 571. The TIP also includes another important missing move project in our county. New Jersey DOT is improving the Route 37 on-ramp to Route 35. Anyone who has traveled east on Route 37 and tried to access Route 35 south is familiar with the tight S-curve. That curve is being smoothed out and will make it easier for people to access the Barnegat Bay Barrier Island and get to key destinations like Seaside Park and Island Beach State Park. These are just two examples. And I should note that the TIP isn't just about road and bridge projects, it also includes funding for transit. As part of our actions on the TIP and connecting communities, we'll also be considering the air quality conformity determination. You will also hear more about this shortly, but in summary, the NJTPA conducts an analysis of the projects in the plan and TIP to ensure that taken together, they will not worsen air quality. Before I wrap up, I wanted to share some more good news. Ocean County is among 4 subregions that recently completed local concept development studies. The others were in Morris, Monmouth, and Somerset counties. These studies allow us to explore to address a transportation issue, whether that's potentially rehabilitating or replacing an aging bridge, or in our case, looking at ways to improve safety and address congestion on busy county roads. All 4 studies were completed at the end of June, and in the coming weeks, the subregions and consultants will be presenting them to an interagency review committee comprised of staff from NJTPA, NJDOT, and the Federal Highway Administration for consideration. This committee will determine whether the recommended alternative meets federal requirements and can be added to the TIP, where it can advance to future phases of work, such as preliminary engineering. The NJTPA's Local Capital Project Development Program, which begins with concept development and continues through construction, is another example of how the NJTPA works with its partners to put federal dollars to work at the local level. Finally, in closing, for those of you here on Long Beach Island today, I encourage you to take some time after our meeting to explore our beautiful beaches, grab lunch at a local restaurant, or stop by Barnegat Lighthouse State Park. This island is just one of many great examples of beautiful places with great local businesses that our region has to offer. Thank you, and that concludes my remarks. We'll now move on to the DOT. Any remarks this morning? Okay, thank you. How about the New Jersey Transit? Any remarks? Thanks for having me. Thanks for being here. Any remarks from the Port Authority?
No comment.
Now I know we're going to have remarks from the next guy, our Executive Director, Dave. Would you kindly present your report to the board and then move right into our featured presentation.
Yep, absolutely. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Thank you, Chairman Kelly and staff at Ocean County and staff at NJTPA for putting this together. It's never as easy as it seems to do an offsite meeting, and appreciate all the work that everybody's done to make it happen. So as the chair mentioned, in a few minutes, I'll be presenting on the 3 core planning documents before the board today. Connecting Communities, our long-range transportation plan, the FY 2026 to 29 Transportation Improvement Program, or TIP, and the air quality conformity determination for both of these documents. But before we get to that, I'd like to give a brief update on some key NJTPA activities since our last meeting. Our commitment to safety continues to guide everything we do as we work toward Target Zero, the goal of eliminating fatalities and serious injuries on our roads. This includes our ongoing participation on the Target Zero Commission, which is developing a statewide plan to reach 0 deaths by 2040. I should note that there currently are a lot of moving parts in the area of transportation safety planning in New Jersey right now. NJDOT is developing a statewide high injury network for consideration by the Target Zero Commission. The methodology and details of this high injury network are still under development, but we do know that the new network will have some impact on how federal highway safety improvement program funds will be distributed. In a related development, as some sub-regional representatives have already heard, the Federal Highway Administration has put a pause on the local safety program for the 3 MPOs in the state and requested that documents and procedures be updated to align with recent federal executive orders. While we have assurance from NJDOT that all local safety projects already in development will continue to be funded, project applications currently under review are on hold. Regardless of that, I do want to be clear that the NJTPA remains fully committed to helping our subregions put federal dollars to work on important locally led safety improvements. And I should note that our other safety related work continues through programs such as Complete Streets Technical Assistance and Street Smart New Jersey. We're helping communities take action with practical tools, data, and outreach. Street Smart continues to grow with 281 partners statewide and expanded outreach materials in multiple languages. We're extending our reach and our impact in even more communities. Complete Street Technical Assistance reports were recently finalized for a bicycle corridor plan in Belleville and Complete Streets corridor assessments in Patterson, Reddington, and Verona. Also on the topic of technical assistance, we're currently seeking applications for our Vibrant Places program, which is open to municipalities, counties, and community organizations. This program provides assistance for community-driven placemaking projects that can lay the groundwork for place-based economic development efforts. Letters of interest are due September 30th. Additional information is available on our website, and we ask all of you to help us get the word out to our region's municipalities about this opportunity. It's a great way for communities to take advantage of federally funded technical assistance without the burden of federal grant management. At the end of the fiscal year, several sub-regional studies also have wrapped up. Final reports were recently completed in Hudson, Middlesex, and Warren counties addressing circulation, roadway safety, and complete streets policies. And at the same time, new studies in Hunterdon County, Jersey City, and Somerset County are underway, actively engaging residents through surveys, public meetings, and neighborhood pop-up events. Consultant selection is also underway for upcoming studies in Middlesex and Passaic counties. I did mention this at our previous committee meeting, but I did want to mention today to highlight a major milestone for our agency and our partners. That's the opening of the new Rumson Seabright Bridge in Monmouth County. On July 31st, we joined county officials to celebrate the ribbon cutting of this $138 million federally funded replacement bridge. It's especially significant because it is the first project to move through every phase of our local capital project delivery program, from concept development through preliminary engineering and design, all the way to construction. This achievement is a model of how NJTPA works with local partners to put federal dollars to work at the local level, delivering infrastructure improvements that both renew critical connections and strengthen community access. In addition to these planning and project achievements, we're also working to improve how we communicate and share our work by updating our website content management system. This project is underway, and by early next year, we'll have a streamlined or user-friendly website that's easier to navigate. It will continue to feature all the great work that we do, including the leadership and contributions of our board members. And really, the website more than ever will reflect the collaborative spirit and shared commitment that drives this agency and its members forward. And finally, I want to thank our staff and our sub-regional partners for their dedication over the past year as we develop connecting communities in the TIP, which again, you'll hear about in just a second, while carrying out all of our other work, from advancing planning studies and technical analyses to engaging residents and community events. This work ensures that our planning process is inclusive, responsive, and impactful. And that concludes my regular report. And we're going to move to the presentation, so I'm going to step over to that podium. Thank you very much. All right. So as I mentioned, Ted and I will be talking about the long-range plan, the TIP, and the air quality conformity. And I want to start with connecting communities, the long-range plan, because it really sets the foundation for everything that we do, the long-range plan. And so connecting communities is going to be setting the foundation for really everything we're going to be doing in the next 4 years to come before we update the plan again. There we go. So there's a lot that goes into developing a long-range plan like this. We analyze current trends and data and forecast future changes in demographics and travel needs. As you can see here, just a few quick figures to show that growth in our region will continue. More population, more jobs, a somewhat older population, and significant growth in freight movement, which is such an important part of our regional economy and our national economy, and really has taken off in post-pandemic. So for development, we really began with the board visioning session that many of you participated in at our office in Newark. As you can see, there's a sort of shorthand version of the vision that we have for our region: a resilient, modern, multimodal system that meets the needs of all users, that's safe, easy to use, and reliable, supports the regional economy, improves the environment, health, and quality of life. There are longer versions of this in the plan itself, but I think that this really sums it up, what we're all about and what we're all working together to achieve. When we break that into several goals, and again, these are fleshed out in further detail in the plan, but really when you look at all these and how they tie together, this is what kind of planning we do is all about, because every single one of these factors is really interrelated. And we want to, again, improve opportunity and access, make things safer, more efficient, better connected, resilient. And we want to strengthen the connection between land use planning and transportation planning so that we're making efficient use of all of our resources, including the transportation system, and that we maintain that system in a state of good repair, and that all of this serves our regional economy and growth. Required part of the federally funded long-range plan is the financial element. The plan must be fiscally constrained. It shows reasonable anticipated revenues based on historical trends in funding from the federal government. And it presents three scenarios. We have the plan scenario is the fiscally constrained scenario. We also look at two investment scenarios.
One that addresses the case of if we have fewer resources than anticipated, and an aspirational scenario, which includes additional things we could accomplish that will always be in keeping with our vision and goals, but if we did get additional funding that was not anticipated. And I should note that the plan assumes $123 billion in revenue, nearly $5 billion annually over the 25-year horizon. So that's a few facts about the plan. Certainly a lot more information available on our website, and I hope that many of you have already read, and I do thank everyone involved who reviewed drafts and provided comments and suggestions for the plan. So I'm going to move on to the Transportation Improvement Program. This is the 4-year fiscally constrained list of projects and programs that are really underway. They're in their latter stages after the vast majority of planning work is done, generally preliminary engineering and later stages like right-of-way, final design, right-of-way acquisition and construction. The TIP is updated every 2 years. It includes all of our surface transportation expenditures, road, bridge, transit, bike ped, trails, freight rail improvements, anything that's funded with federal surface transportation dollars is included in the TIP. And as you can see there, the TIP allocates $16.35 billion in transportation investments in our 13 county region. And you can see from the pie chart that the majority of that is on the highway and bridge side, with a very significant portion going to New Jersey Transit. And that other is largely the Gateway program, because the Gateway Commission is a separate agency. There's, I think, a few dollars there too for some federally funded Port Authority work. So the capital investment strategy is another tool that we've developed to guide investment in the region, which you see in the TIP. And that really, it breaks down into several categories, the types of projects that are included in the TIP. We put them in 3 main categories: system preservation, system improvement, and system support. As you can see, as has been the case for many years in our region, system preservation takes the majority of the funds. That's because it's critical to maintain what we have. And we have a region with a lot of aging and heavily used infrastructure that requires maintenance, upkeep, sometimes replacement. System improvement includes enhancements and expansions to the transportation network. That could be a new transit service. That could be a road widening, although there are very few substantial road widening projects in our TIP in keeping with our regional vision. And then system support is generally operations, maintenance, planning, all that kind of stuff. And one point I always like to make about these categories is that while it is important to have these categories to guide our investments, it doesn't really tell the whole story about any of the individual investments. For instance, you can see that there's dedicated safety projects, and that's a decent percentage, but what it doesn't show is that when let's say we're replacing a bridge, and it now had a bridge that is very old, had no shoulders, had no sidewalks, no bicycle or pedestrian access, might get those things, and thus safety is improved, but that goes into the bridge category. So you have to, this is a big picture. You can't really tell all of the improvements that we're making in the region, because virtually any project is going to fall really into multiple categories of improvement. But it is an important way to think about how we distribute the funds to different types of projects. So quickly now, I'll go over the air quality conformity determination. That is a technical modeling process based on the mix of projects in the plan and the TIP. And what it shows is that taken collectively for the region, we meet federal air quality standards and do not worsen air quality by implementing the transportation investments outlined in our plan and TIP. I think that second bullet, analyzes aggregate projects, is really important to keep in mind. We are not doing an air quality analysis on every single individual project, but on the regional mix of projects. And, you know, I can confirm that we passed our conformity test. The air quality in the NJTPA region has been improving, and I believe was mentioned at our last board meeting. I'm happy to share that we're no longer required to run emissions conformity determination for carbon monoxide and fine particulate matter in our region. And that's really due to the deliberate efforts that we and many state agencies and all of our partners have made over the years to move our transportation system in a more environmentally friendly direction. So those are the three major documents. I know that's a quick overview. I'll be happy to talk to anybody afterwards or any questions that anybody might have after we complete the presentation. But what I'm going to do now is hand it over to Ted, who's going to talk about the outreach that went into these efforts, particularly our long range plan. And then I'll come back in a few minutes to talk about next steps for the plan. Thank you.
Dave, thanks a lot. Always great to co-present with the executive director, but Dave and I go back 20 plus years. And I think it's fair to say we've done a few floor shows at conferences and meetings over the years. But this one today is especially exciting for me because I get to tell you all about the public outreach that we did for the Connecting Communities Long Range Transportation Plan. So I'm going to tell you what we did, how we did it, and also what we heard. And I think it's important right at the beginning to emphasize that when we started this whole public outreach effort, right, we were about to onboard consultant support. And at the pre-proposal meeting, I made it very clear that one of my key goals for this effort was to leverage as many possible public engagement tools, the innovations that we researched and successfully implemented over the years. Because we knew this time, think about it, last time we did region-wide public engagement for an LRTP was 5 years ago. We all know where we were 5 years ago, right? We're in the middle of the pandemic. It was all virtual. This time, we knew we were going to need way more resources, way more public engagement tools to get the work done, and frankly, way more people, right? So we're here on Long Beach Island, so I sort of feel compelled to do a local example. But one of my favorite things to do down here is to play miniature golf. And it just so happens that one of the best miniature golf courses on the entire Jersey Shore, in fact, is located right here on LBI. In fact, in Ship Bottom on the boulevard. It's called Flamingo Golf. And mini golf is a great family tradition for me. It's a lot of fun, but it's also a type of golf that you can play with just one club, a putter. If you want to go to your county course or your local muni that might have a par 3, well, then you need to add a wedge or a 9-iron to get the work done. And if you want to go over the bridge to Ocean Acres in Manahawkin, to the country club there, you're going to need a full bag of clubs, right, to play 9 or 18. Well, in this case, for us, we needed a PGA Tour bag, custom fitted clubs, and like 35 caddies to get the work done. So that gives you a sense of the scope and scale of what we had to do. So Dave talked about the visioning, which is really where the outreach started. We had the visioning session with our board and also one for the staff at the very beginning. And the idea was to gauge potential priorities, goals, and focus areas, and to develop our initial Connecting Communities Visioning Survey. That survey, and some of the results are highlighted here on this slide, helped us identify the main topics that we would then zero in on for the rest of the public outreach that would follow. And those topics were safety, walking, biking, and access to transit. So once the survey was underway, we then began developing, launching, and of course, widely promoting an extensive public engagement effort that included 3 virtual Let's Talk Transportation listening sessions. And we did these in partnership with other groups. So working with the New Jersey Bike and Walk Coalition and Rutgers University's Voorhees Transportation Center, right? We talked about walking and biking. The middle one, we worked with the transit-friendly planning shop at NJ Transit to talk about access to public transportation. And then the series wrapped up early in the spring with a final session on creating vibrant downtowns with people parking and deliveries all in the mix. And for that one, we worked with downtown New Jersey. So what followed was, and I'm happy to say, pop-up community-based outreach that we successfully conducted in all 15 NJTPA subregions. We also did a couple of extra events. So for example, Commissioner Shaw joined us at the Morris County Board of Transportation for an engagement session with those folks. Commissioner Kowalski was with us at the Union County Transportation Advisory Board. We did engagement with the Morris Canal Working Group, the Hackensack River Greenway Working Group. We beta tested a lot of outreach asks at the Transaction State Transportation Planning Conference in the spring. But the idea behind the pop-ups is we wanted to talk to folks where they live, where they play, in some cases where they work, and get those real personal ideas on how we can improve public transit, safety, walking, and biking in the region. Again, those were those 4 topics identified in our visioning phase as priorities for transportation planning. So how we did the pop-ups, we used a special 3D cube. It's right over there behind the board table. It was developed by Courtney Mercer at Mercer Planning Associates. And the idea behind the 4-sided cube was each side could be devoted to one of our outreach priorities. And folks could circulate around the cube and use either Post-it notes or stickies and tell us where they would like to see investments made to improve transportation in those 4 areas. So it was tactile, it was interactive, it was a lot of fun. Some folks came up to the cube and said, well, I only want to do one. And then they ended up circulating and doing all 4. It was really cool to do that sort of in-person outreach again, especially after the last time we did it being virtual, where we couldn't shake hands or talk to anybody. So again, the pop-ups ranged from, well, we did a variety of events, everything from Earth Day celebrations and street fairs to farmers markets. We did a block party at Lake Hopatcong. We did a bike rodeo. Commissioner Kenny was at that one in Middlesex County. We worked with Keep Middlesex Moving. The picture's there on the left. Commissioner Kenny's in the back. And there you see my daughter Dorian in the blue hoodie and Jeff Froman's daughter Betty in the white. So we had kids engaging kids. And then we had our staff and our board member, Commissioner Kenny, all engaging folks at a really fun event, despite the fact that it was freezing cold that day. In Passaic County, we did a Touch-a-Truck event at the Patterson Fire Department. Commissioner Bartlett was at that one. And Commissioner Bartlett actually live streamed to social right from the event, which was really cool. Love to see that level of engagement from our board at these events. Here in Ocean County, we conducted our outreach event at the Kid Stuff Flea Market. This was at Ocean County Park in Lakewood Township. I had the pleasure of being at that one along with a lot of the other ones. And Ocean County staff was extremely helpful, Mark Jenke and his team, on finding us not only the right location for this outreach, but we had some weather challenges that day, and Ocean County really gave us a lot of key logistical support that day, which was appreciated. And as we saw in other towns across the NJTPA region, in Lakewood, folks pointed directly to local needs. So things like improving safety, at crosswalks, or better connections between a local residential neighborhood and a park, just a short distance away from where we had set up our booth. So it was a fine example of tactical urbanism, where we're conducting outreach and we have some asks, but folks are able to say, well, you see over there, it would be better if we could improve connections so people could safely walk from the townhouses or the apartments over to the park. It was a really good example of how to do that kind of outreach. And just in case folks couldn't make it to one of the pop-up events, or maybe they did make it, let's say, a mother brings 3 of her kids to the Lakewood Township event, right? But doesn't have time to really engage with us. Well, we created a supplemental survey that we could give folks a bookmark with a QR code or a printed survey, and they could still share their ideas that way. So we didn't want to exclude anyone that wanted to contribute. Okay, so specialized outreach. Our outreach efforts in this regard even included a new and lovable NJTPA mascot, Sammy the Squirrel. He helped us engage kids and teens. You see him on this slide here. Kids and teens in a Future of Transportation art contest and our special NJTPA on-air recording booth. So we had Sammy helping us capture input from our youngest audiences, and then our high school student public outreach liaison. She conducted peer engagement at her high school in North Jersey. And we invited our Up Next North Jersey Young Adults Advisory Group to give us their ideas for the LRTP and an interactive game night that we held in the NJTPA boardroom. Don't worry, we didn't mess up the carpet or anything. The kids were able to play the game right on their phones, and it was interactive, and it was a lot of fun and really different. So here's the full picture of how we listened in the NJTPA region during our outreach campaign. Our federal partners always love when we attach numbers to things, so I'm going to attempt to do that now to the greatest extent possible. We told you about the board and staff visioning workshops that helped us develop the survey. That survey in the visioning phase reached 2,000 people. You'll also see we distributed more than 8,000 special bookmarks with the QR codes and more than 1,800 paper surveys to nearly 400 libraries all across the NJTPA region. We also posted a ton of social media content, enough to do one post a day for a full year. It was a lot of work, but it was very successful in helping us raise the profile of the NJTPA and engage folks in our transportation planning work. We seated a stakeholder advisory committee that met 3 times during the course of the project to help us not only reach the right people, but also identify partner organizations that could help us get the word out about all the types of outreach that we were going to do. And the group really generally helped us take the right tack on certain outreach approaches. Oh, and all of our outreach materials were translated into 6 different languages. Nearly 100 people participated in those 3 co-sponsored Let's Talk Transportation symposiums I told you about. I mentioned Sammy the squirrel, the mascot. He helped us promote that art contest. It resulted in 274 creative and colorful entries from kids. Sammy and the Rutgers VTC staff also then went out into the communities with our on-air recording booth to places like Liberty Science Center, Boys and Girls Clubs, community groups across the region to engage kids and so they could give us their personal ideas for how to improve transportation in the future. The pop-up events that I told you about in a previous slide reached more than 1,300 people. Good luck trying to get that many people to show up at a single public hearing, right? And that was across the region. And those pop-ups also generated an extra 350 supplemental survey responses. All right, so what did we actually hear from folks through all of our outreach efforts? Well, from the people we talked to, nearly 60% told us that their current transportation needs are not being met. And many people we heard from, like 45%, said that the primary way they get around right now is driving. But 72% said in the future they'd really like to drive less. And 63% said they wish they could use public transit more. When it comes to creating safer streets, folks want us to take that complete streets approach that includes improvements for everybody, regardless of ability or travel mode, people biking, driving, using transit, making deliveries. And when it comes to walking, the top request, probably no surprise, better sidewalks was the big request. And overwhelmingly in our visioning survey, we had heard that folks wanted safer accommodations for cyclists, like bike lanes or shared use paths. So at the pop-up events, we asked, where would you like to be able to bike to? And parks were the #1 choice. Folks said, yeah, we can ride around on our bikes in the parks, but getting to and from, just like getting to and from schools or downtowns, is a bit more of a challenge that we should work on. All right. So finally, after all you've just heard about, the federal requirement is for a 30-day public comment period. And we did that this summer. So we had a very busy summer from July 7th to August 5th. And the comment period allowed for public and stakeholder and partner agency review, not only of our draft Connected Communities LRTP, but also the TIP for 26 through 29 and the accompanying air quality conformity determination that Dave told you about for all the projects in the LRTP and the TIP. Toward the middle of the comment period, July 17th to be exact, we held a 3-hour virtual public meeting drawing 42 people. The meeting covered all the draft products that you have on your agenda today. We had an overview room with a general presentation that I gave like 4 times during the course of the meeting, and then breakout rooms so folks could talk to us specifically about the LRTP and outreach, the TIP, the air quality conformity determination, and we even had a separate room for folks if they wanted to participate only in Spanish. The open house was preceded that very afternoon by a more technically oriented session. It was a public workshop just on the air quality conformity determination, and even that drew an additional 30 people. The summary of public comments and responses, both from the public meeting and from the overall comment period, totaled nearly 20 pages. It was provided to you and our standing committees previously, along with a separate document that covers any changes made as a result of the comments received. Everything is also cached and posted, by the way, on the NJTPA's website. So Thank you for indulging me. That's kind of the story on public outreach. I hope I covered everything. I would like to thank our outreach consultants, McCormick Taylor, and their project manager, Christina Arlt, Mercer Planning Associates, headed by Courtenay Mercer, who developed that cube and a lot of other creative ways to engage folks in the field. And of course, the Public Outreach and Engagement Team, better known as POET at Rutgers Voorhees. These consultant teams, I don't know where we would have been without them. They helped us come up with region-wide, creative, interactive, and fun ways to engage folks in our outreach effort. In addition, our outreach staff, headed up by Winstina Hughes and Melissa Hayes, helped us involve many NJTPA staff in our pop-up outreach events across the region, often on weekends. This was done in the spring. You remember the spring, cold, blustery, rainy, booths blowing over, all kinds of crazy things. But you know what? Staff involvement played a huge part in the success of our work. And I want to thank them for taking so much time out of their schedules to help us engage folks. So now I'm going to turn it back over to Dave, and we're going to take a look at next steps. Dave?
Thank you, Ted. I would just like to echo Ted's thanks to our staff, the sub-regional staff, consultants, and everyone who worked very hard at that, as you heard, very extensive public outreach effort. It's really at the core of what we do. And I'm always amazed that every time we do a long-range plan outreach, we just seem to be getting more people. And I think that's a testament to the hard work that everybody does and how we learn new ways with each iteration of the plan to reach people. And now I'm excited to see what we do for the next plan that we'll be bringing before the board 4 years from now. But what I want to talk about right now are some of the priorities, the next steps. This is a quick summary of sort of some key priorities in the plan, and then I'll just take a minute or two to talk about the actions that the NJTPA is going to take to further the goals of the plan and to turn these priorities into reality. So at the top of the list is funding for the Gateway program. That includes funding for two critical projects, as I think most of you are aware, the Hudson Tunnel Project and the Portal North Bridge. Again, as I think you know, this is construction of a new rail tunnel under the Hudson, rehabilitation of existing tunnels, which will allow us to provide redundancy and eventually more capacity into New York City. Safety, of course, is going to remain at the core of what we're doing. As I said, we're on the Target Zero Commission, and we will be working. The board approved goal in this plan is towards zero fatalities by 2050. But of course, we are also working to meet the statewide goal of zero fatalities by 2040. We continue to support multimodal travel options to ensure that people can get to where they need to go, regardless of whether they're driving, riding transit, walking, or biking. I should note that for this plan update, we engaged housing stakeholders really for the first time. That was a federal requirement under the previous administration to discuss how we can better integrate transportation and land use decisions, which again is really part of the vision that I talked about at the beginning. And finally, as you'll recall, the board previously adopted a resiliency implementation plan, which we've integrated into the long-range plan update. Certainly being here today on a barrier island in a shore community is a reminder of the importance of making our region's infrastructure more resilient to extreme weather and potential rising sea levels. Now, I just want to take a minute to talk about our next steps as an agency and where we plan to go. And this is outlined in the last chapter of the plan. We've put these actions into three categories: planning, investments, and collaboration. In terms of planning, obviously at the core of what we do, it's in our name. We're going to continue to support our complete streets, emerging centers, vibrant places, and transit hub planning programs. If resources are available, I think we'll be looking to grow those programs as we go forward in the coming years. We do find that with New Jersey being a home rule state, working closely with municipalities on projects that, of course, are supported by the counties that those municipalities are in, which we always make a requirement because we are, our board is primarily based with county members. We look forward to doing more of those and really helping. That really helps us integrate transportation and land use decision making, helps with economic development. And as I have to mention every time I talk about these programs, that allows communities to take advantage of federal funds and what they can offer with without the headache of federal grant management, which is a major, I think, a major plus of approaching it through the technical assistance program rather than a direct federal grant. We're going to be looking to build some more municipal safety planning that stems from the local safety action plans that have been developed throughout our region, 8 of which were developed with a consultant assistance by the NJTPA directly, and others that were developed using direct federal grants to the recipients. We'll continue to support planning for improving resilience and reducing emissions. We're going to continue to develop our performance measure or a performance-based approach to planning. And again, another connection to land use. We are nearing completion of a regional zoning atlas that is also information that's being shared as the National Zoning Atlas, which is an effort out of Cornell University. And this is about using data, information, getting it out to folks to help transportation and land use planning be better integrated. The next category for our priority actions is investments. This is largely done on a regular basis through the TIP, but also through the planning funds that are in our annual work program that outlines the planning work that we're doing and that the subregions are doing. We're going to continue to support safe and convenient bicycle, pedestrian, and transit connections, really look to grow planning in those areas. Initiate safety improvements guided by data and local safety plans. As I mentioned in my remarks, that area is a bit in flux, but we remain fully committed to it. We're going to continue to adequately fund that state of good repair that I talked about and continue to invest in technology and resilience. The third area, collaboration. That's again really at the core of what we're about, what metropolitan planning organizations are about. We're convening and collaborative bodies. And that helps us ensure the federally required continuing cooperative and comprehensive planning process that we are evaluated on by the federal government every 4 years at our certification review. And in this area, what we're talking about is continued coordination between transportation and other agencies making investments in the region. And that includes, of course, coordination between our subregions and the NJDOT and New Jersey Transit. We do our best to help serve as a liaison and to help the subregions have the communication they need with those agencies and to work on their priorities. We want to use this collaboration to integrate resilience into maintenance and preservation. So any federally funded project in that area, we'll be looking at how it can improve overall system resilience. We want to work to continue to support state and local applications to competitive federal grants. So I'll do this. You've probably heard me say this a few times over the years, but if you are seeking one of these grants or you know of one of your municipalities that is, please steer them our way. We can help them. We can provide guidance. We can possibly provide data. And in almost every case, we can provide a letter of support that can help them secure that grant. And then we also want to promote economic development, engage the private sector so that the transportation system is serving the needs of businesses and employees and our communities. And, you know, we traditionally have done that with working with groups like the Newark Regional Business Partnership, County Chambers of Commerce. So we want to continue that work and really grow that and make sure that our plans are enhancing the economy and the business climate of our region. And with that, I come to the end of our presentation. I thank you. I'm going to stand up here just if there are any questions, or otherwise I'll go back to my other seat. But if anybody has any questions about anything you just heard or what we talked about, I'd be happy to take them.
Okay, does any member of the board have questions or comments? Seeing none, does anyone from the audience have any questions or comments? All right, Dave.
All right. All right, thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to committee reports. Commissioner Betty Jane Kowalski, Vice Chair of Planning and Economic Development Committee, will give the Planning and Economic Development Committee report.
Incorporating mission zero into foreign experience and open space trust fund and identifying opportunities to partner with municipalities and grants. At the meeting, we also reviewed two action items before the board today. First, Chair mentioned we are being asked to adopt connected community, the NJTPA long-range transportation plan for quite a bit about, and the accompanying air quality determination. The long-range transportation plan, dated for years, is required to maintain eligibility for federal transportation funding. As you heard from David Ted's presentation, last year's board vision inspection and extensive stakeholder input contributed to the plan's development. The air quality conformity determinations are the required step to ensure projects included in the plan comply with the Federal Clean Air Act, not words of regional air quality. The second action item the committee approved is fiscal year 2026 study and development program. This program identifies and advances projects for potential future funding through the TIP and also forms an important part current unified planning work program. Project selections are guided regional goals addressing transportation safety, environmental, social, and economic priorities, while also considering project feasibility and geographic balance. Thank you, Chairman. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Commissioner. So we do have two action items in the Planning and Economic Development Committee on today's agenda. First is the adoption of Connecting Communities, the NJTPA Long Range Transportation Plan, and accompanying air quality conformity determination. I understand Union County would like to move this item.
Yes, you moves the item.
And the Governor Authority Unit would second?
Second.
Okay. Any comments from board members on this item? Seeing none, any comments from members of the public on this? Okay, seeing none. Denise, would you please call the?
Yes. Hudson County?
Yes.
Hunterdon County?
Yes.
Middlesex County?
Yes.
Monmouth County?
Yes.
Morris County?
Yes.
City of Newark?
Yes.
Ocean County?
Yes.
Passaic County?
Yes.
Sussex County. Union County,
Yes.
Governor's Authorities Unit,
Yes.
Department of Transportation, New Jersey Transit,
Yes.
Port Authority.
Yes.
The item passes.
Thank you. The second item is approval of fiscal year 2026 study and development program. I understand that Hudson County would like to move this item.
Yes, Hudson County will move.
And Middlesex County, will you second?
Yes.
Okay, any comments from board members on this item? Any comments from members of the public on this item? Denise, would you please call the roll?
Yes. Hudson County,
Yes.
Hunterdon County,
Yes.
Middlesex County, Monmouth County,
Yes.
Morris County,
Yes.
City of Newark,
Yes.
Ocean County,
Yes.
Passaic County. Sussex County,
Yes.
Union County.
Yeah.
Governor's Authorities Unit,
Yes.
Department of Transportation,
Yes.
New Jersey Transit,
Yes.
Port Authority. Thank you. The item passes.
Thank you. Now we'll move on to Commissioner Charlie Kennan, who was the chair of the Project Prioritization Committee, and he will give his report.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm pleased to report on the activities of the Project Prioritization Committee at the August meeting. Committee reviewed 3 action items before the board for a vote today. First, the committee recommended approval of FY 26-29 TIP and the accompanying air quality conformity determination. This action adopts the 4-year program, federally and state funded transportation projects, consistent with the goals and strategies outlined in the NJTPA's long-range plan. As the chair mentioned, this TIP sets a record and will fund more than 300 projects and programs across our region. Approval of this item also confirms that the NJTPA has met all federal carbon monoxide emissions analysis requirements. Since the committee considered this item last month, NJ Transit made a technical correction to reconcile and update program amounts for 4 programs. NJDOT also made changes to several projects and programs, including funding adjustments to align funding with anticipated needs. Second, the committee recommends approval of the FY 26 NJTPA self-certification. This action is required to be taken each time the board approves a new TIP. Approval of this item affirms that the NJTPA planning process follows all applicable federal requirements and regulations. Finally, the committee recommends the approval of the minor amendment to the FY 24-27 TIP. This amendment would add $44.6 million in federal transportation administration funds to the Transit Enhancement Transportation Alternatives Program, Alternative Transit Improvements Program line in the current fiscal year, bringing the total program funding to $60.6 million. These funds will support the engineering, right-of-way acquisitions, construction for the renovation of New Jersey Transit's Carney Point Bus Garage, and the conversion of a warehouse into a bus operation and maintenance facility capable of accommodating hybrid electric buses. This concludes my report, Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. So we'll move on and go to the approval of fiscal year 2006 through 29 TIP program and accompanying air quality conformity determination. I understand Morris County would like to move this item,
Yes, Morris County moves the item.
and NJTOT, would you second? Okay, any comments from board members on this item? Any comments from members of the public on this item? Denise, would you please call the roll?
Yes. Hudson County,
Yes.
Hunterdon County,
Yes.
Middlesex
Yes.
County, Monmouth County,
Yes.
Morris County,
Yes.
City of Newark,
Yes.
Ocean County,
Yes.
Passaic County,
Yes.
Sussex County,
Yes.
Union County,
Yes.
Governor's Authorities Unit,
Yes.
Department of Transportation,
Yes.
NJ Transit,
Yes.
Port Authority.
Yes.
Thank you. The item passes.
Thank you. And second action item is approval of fiscal year 2026 North Jersey Transportation Planning Authority self-certification. Who would like to move this item?
Middlesex makes a motion.
We have a second.
Second.
I'm,
Okay,
I'm sorry, who's second?
Second.
Say, thank you.
okay, any comments from board members on this item? Any from members of the public? Seeing none, Denise, would you please call the roll?
Yes. Hudson County,
Yes.
Hunterdon County,
Yes.
Middlesex
Yes.
County, Monmouth County,
Yes.
Morris County,
Yes.
City of Newark,
Yes.
Ocean County,
Yes,
Passaic County,
Yes.
Sussex County,
Yes.
Union County,
Yes.
Governor's Authorities Unit,
Yes.
Department of Transportation,
Yes.
New Jersey Transit,
yes.
Port Authority.
Yes.
Thank you. The item passes.
Thank you. The third and final item is a minor amendment to fiscal year 2024-27 Transportation Improvement Program to add federal funds to the transit enhancement. I understand that Hudson County would like to move this item.
Yes, Hudson County, so.
And New Jersey Transit, we second? Second transit. Any comments from members of the board? Any comments from the public? Seeing none, Denise, would you call the roll?
Yes. Hudson County,
Yes.
Hunterdon County,
Yes.
Middlesex
Yes.
County, Monmouth County,
Yes.
Morris County,
Yes.
City of Newark,
Yes.
Ocean County,
Yes,
Passaic County,
Yes.
Sussex County,
Yes.
Union County, Governor's Authorities Unit,
Yes.
New Jersey Department of, NJTOT, sorry,
Yes.
New Jersey Transit,
yes.
Port Authority.
Yes.
Item passes. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Commissioner Stephen Shaw will give the Freight Initiatives Committee report. Commissioner?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am pleased to report on the August 18th Freight Initiatives Committee meeting. I was unable to attend, so I want to begin by expressing my appreciation to NJDEPA staff for conducting the meeting in my absence. The meeting featured a comprehensive update on regional rail freight activities delivered by Arthur Fiegelson, Manager of Industrial Development at CSX Transportation, two representatives from the New Jersey Railroad Association, Kevin Hoffman, an account manager at Taylor Northeast and an associate member of the group, and Bob Bailey, the association's president, and Michael Fesson, executive director of government relations at Norfolk Southern Railway. CSX highlighted its extensive 20,000-mile rail network, which stretches from Chicago and New Orleans to the Atlantic coast and serves all major U.S. ports within their service territory. The presentation focused on key infrastructure projects, regional industrial development trends, and future opportunities for growth, particularly in waste management, warehouse expansion, and the movement of biofuels in response to renewable fuel mandates. Among the major projects discussed were the Howard Street Tunnel expansion in Baltimore and the efforts to raise two bridges along the I-95 corridor to accommodate double-stack containers. CSX continues to reinvest heavily in its system, with approximately $2.5 billion allocated annually to infrastructure. The New Jersey Railroad Association speakers provided an overview of the group, its members, and their activities advocating, supporting, and promoting freight rail in the state. The membership includes not only the railroads that operate in New Jersey, but also railroad consultants, contractors, and suppliers. Their activities focus on education, safety, and business development. Norfolk Southern provided an update on its recently announced merger with Union Pacific. The boards of both companies have agreed that Norfolk Southern would be purchased by Union Pacific. If approved by the Surface Transportation Board, the deal would create the first transcontinental railroad in the United States and the third in North America. The other two are Canadian National and Canadian Pacific. The approval process is likely to take about 2 years and will include a great deal of stakeholder outreach. We really appreciate Norfolk Southern's willingness to provide this update to the FIC so early in the process. Attendees asked several questions about potential regional impacts of this merger. Central staff will monitor the progress of this merger and plans to invite Norfolk Southern to provide additional updates at key points during the lengthy approval process. Committee member updates included a report from Passaic County, which is conducting a sub-regional study on truck movements and safety in its urban areas. The county looks forward to sharing the findings once the study is complete. Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner. We will now turn to the public participation portion of this meeting. As a reminder, we advise members of the public that we have a 3-minute time limit on comments. The light on the timer will go from green to yellow when there are 30 seconds remaining, and then red when the 3 minutes are reached. We ask that you keep your comments within this allotted time. We will start with members of the public who are here in the room and have signed up to speak. Then we will call on those who signed up to participate remotely. Ted, would you please call on the first speaker who signed up to speak today?
We didn't have anyone sign up in advance.
Okay. Anyone else that would like to speak that's in the room today? Seeing none. So do you have anybody on the phone or anything? Okay. So that ends the public portion. Thank you, everyone, for your participation today. The board's next meeting will be held on November 10th at 10:30 a.m. at the NJTPA office in Newark. We have a motion to adjourn. Motion. Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed and stay here? My understanding is we're changing.
That's how I say. County executive.